future. Now what this shows, the fact that the philosophy of law is compulsory here, and the fact that we have these options that will encourage you to look at law from a wider kind of perspective, what this shows is that we are not looking for robots. I think another big myth about the study of law and about the practice of law is that it's kind of a memory exercise. It's all about learning a bunch of laws off by heart and then being able to reproduce them word for word at an appropriate point. If you ever see lawyers depicted on television, often in sort of BBC adaptations of Dickens novels, or TV programs like Suits. Has anyone watch Suits? You ever watch these kind of things? The lawyer is always this very well-dressed individual, sitting in this kind of well-appointed mahogany office, with row upon row of weighty-looking leather-bound book on the shelves behind him. And a lot of people imagine that the real skill in being a lawyer is you could go into this person's office, pick any one of those big, impressive-looking books off the shelf, and this genius would be able to tell you word for word what it says in a particular section of a particular act on a particular page in that book. In fact, that's the whole premise of Suits, right? The guy's just brilliant at learning stuff off by heart. This is not what being a good lawyer and being a good law student is all about. We do not memorize law. We do not reproduce law. We practice law. It's a skill-based, at times very creative kind of activity. You know those big, impressive-looking books on the shelves? Those are statute books. You're allowed to bring them into the exam with you. Learning them off by heart would be a complete and utter waste of your time. So what are the skills involved then? If being a good law student and being a good practicing lawyer isn't about just being able to memorize stuff and then just throw it back at us, what are we looking at? What would make you a good law student? Well, like I said, it's a practical activity. And like any practice, you couldn't really list everything that would make you good. I mean, let's face it, there's a high degree of snob value attached to studying law, isn't there? Tell your granny or your next door neighbour that you're thinking of applying to study law, they say, oh, well done you must be very clever. And I think the reason why lawyers enjoy this reputation is precisely because of this. Because it's a practice rather than a memory exercise, it tests a really wide range of skills. Like any other practice, say being good at a musical instrument or being an artist.